All right. Let's see. I'm sitting here in my basement watching the Michigan LSU game. Oh, Michigan's back up. Okay, LSU had popped in front of them, and looks like Michigan's gone on a 7-0 run. And I don't know who I can't pull for LSU. No way. Um, all right. What you see on the screen here. This is one of those small flashlights, okay? And this is the body of it. We're not going to do the head section of it, the actual light portion. That gets a little bit more complicated. What we're going to do in this particular project is I've got a video here. I'm going to walk through it real quick. I'm not going to be in class tomorrow, so hopefully I will be online. I'm going to My mother's having surgery, and I'm going to be at the hospital. Hopefully, I'll have Wi Fi and be able to join you in class. Um, let's look at what we've got here. We've got a cylinder that runs up and down. Okay. This cylinder right here, as you see me hover over, you can see the outline of it at the bottom. That's been extruded up 35 millimeters. I've got two sections that are wider. These wider sections are 13 millimeters wide, while these intersections are 12.2 millimeters wide. We've got a threading at the top. This bottom extended section is 1 millimeter up. So if I tilt it a little bit and give you more of a profile look, so we've got standard width, the wider, back to standard, wider, back to standard, and then the threading to screw the top on. If I flip over here, and these two are both on rock space. Where is rock space? I'm going to go here. There we go. There's rock space. And the next one I'm going to show you is a diagram of the actual measurements. So back to Fusion, back to the home position here, and let's flip over to the drawing. So as you see, the entire body of the flashlight is 35 millimeters tall. This first section right here is 1 millimeter. The expanded section here is 6 millimeters in height. Then we've got a gap of 2 millimeters. Then a 16 millimeter section here with the expanded width. And then 5 millimeters before the threads. Now, what I'm going to start asking you to do, you didn't get all the information in this diagram. For example, you're going to need to know how far the threads come down. Now, how would you find how far the threads come down? Well, you know the overall height, right? And you know the height of each section going up here until the threads. So this, the overall, less these, will tell you the height of the threads. Okay? You're going to have to start figuring out, looking at your designs, what pieces of information you have, and start figuring out what is it that I need? How am I going to derive the information from what I have? All right. And these measurements are the three diameters. The wider section is 13 millimeters. This edge here, 12.2 millimeters. And the inner wall is 11.2 millimeters. So what we're going to do in the process is we are going to draw our base shapes, the circles. We're going to extrude the base cylinder up. That's the 12.2 millimeter. The gap between the 11.2 and 12.2, that 1 millimeter section, will get extruded up. Okay. Then we'll come back and start adding our expanded sections. The first one we'll add from the bottom up. So the first portion is 1 millimeter. The second, the actual expanded portion, is 6 millimeters. So it's a 7 millimeter. We're going to extrude that 7 millimeters. We're going to come back and do a second extrusion, which is actually going to be a cut. And we're going to cut 1 millimeter of that from the bottom up, this extrusion, to create this edge, this bottom. Then we're going to create a construction plane. And this construction plane is going to be how far from the base. We can create it one of a couple ways. We can calculate it from the base, the bottom here, which would be the top bottom plane, or we're going to have a face up here, this edge from this section we've created, and it could be how far up from this edge here. Two ways of approaching it. Both are right. Neither one of them's wrong. And once we have that section in place, which will be built on a construction plane, we'll sketch our circles and extrude it up. Then we'll add our threads. All right, let's get started. All right, new canvas. I'll close my data panel. See how much time I've got here. All right, got about 8.5 minutes. All right, let's create a sketch. Top bottom plane. Let's create a 13 millimeter circle. 13, hit enter. I need to zoom that in, don't I? Yeah, bring it in. All right, now I'm going to offset my circle because remember, I've got, this is my outer edge. This is the widest of the two wide sections. The base of it is 12.2 millimeters wide. So what I'm going to do is create an offset, my circle, and it's going to be a negative 0.4. All right, negative 4.4 millimeters, hit enter. So there's my first offset. Now the second one was 11.2 millimeters, so I'm going to offset from 13.9. You all get what I'm doing there? That's actually that 0.4. It's 0.4 offset here, right? From here to here, but it's also 0.4 offset from here. So that 13 millimeter diameter actually becomes 12.2. If I do 0.9, it comes in 0.9 here, so that takes us down to 12.1 in diameter. With the 0.9 on the other side, it's actually reducing the diameter by 1.8. All right, so it's offset. Negative 0.9, hit enter. Okay, so I've got several different profiles here. Okay, I've got, this is going to be the bottom of the flashlight body. This section in between here will be the walls that go up 35 millimeters. And this is my expanded wider sections that I will be, those two wider sections, one 6 millimeters in height and the other one 16 millimeters in height. All right, zoom back out, finish sketch. Now, I believe I said the first thing we were going to do was to extrude the body up. All right, if you come down here, oh no, we're going to create the bottom, then extrude the body up. Okay, I've got all these nice instructions in place for you with the images. So let's extrude the bottom, 0.8 millimeters, enter. Go to home position. All right. Well, now we need to extrude the whole body up, but the problem is we can't see our sketch anymore from sketch one, can we? So we're going to expand up here in the browser. Look at my mouse. We're going to expand sketches. Oh, there's sketch 1. Yeah, it's not visible. If I click here on the eyeball, it's now visible. All right. Now we're going to extrude the first section here. And we're going to extrude it 35 millimeters. Fit, so we can see it. There's my extrusion, 35 millimeters. We're joining it to the bottom section we just created. Click OK. All right, I now have my cylinder in place. Go back over to my instructions. All right, you see how I've created the cylinder. Step 3, we're going to create this first wider section that is 6 millimeters in height. And then we're going to cut away the bottom millimeter because we're going to extrude that actually 7 millimeters. So let's select this ring. Can I get it? Now I'm going to zoom in. There we go. I'm going to extrude it. And I'm going to extrude it 7 millimeters. Why am I extruding it 7 millimeters? There's the 1 millimeter up right there, and then 6 more millimeters. Okay. All right, so let's extrude. Oh, I lost my extrude when I flipped over. There we go. Extrude 7 millimeters. We're joining it. Yep, that looks good. Everything's good. Click OK. All right, now I'm going to tilt this a little bit. I need to create that bottom gap. All right. And cut that away. So I'm going to go extrude. And I'm going to select that ring again, the one I just extruded up. But now I'm going to change my operation to cut. And I'm going to go up 1 millimeter. Let's change our profile to the, get my hand tool, slide it up. So you notice how it's turning red. It's going to cut away 1 millimeter. Okay, I changed my operation there. Okay, why is it not giving me? There we go. 1 millimeter, cut, click OK. All right, let's zoom out. Go back to home. As you see, my profile now exists there. Okay, next thing I need to do is to create my construction plane so I can create the next section up. All right, I think you can go 1 millimeter, 6 millimeters, and 2 more millimeters, so for a total of 9. If you want to create your construction plane off the top bottom plane, it would be raised 9 millimeters. Or I can go construct offset plane, and I can select this edge right here. Okay, and I'm going to increase it. I'm going to lift it 2 millimeters off that edge and click OK. I have my construction plane. So let's create sketch and choose our construction plane. Good. And I need to redraw my circles at the higher level now. So I'm going to create my first circle from the origin. How far out am I going to go? Look at there. It locks onto that circle that I've already got. 13 millimeters. That's good by me. Click. I'm going to create another circle from the origin. And guess what? It should lock. Oh, yeah. It locked onto the second one. No, that's not exactly locked on, is it? No, it's off. It should be 12.2 millimeters. You know what? I'm going to undo. And I'm going to draw my circles and do it right. And I'm going to type in my values, 13. And there's circle 1. Circle 2. Draw it. 12.2 millimeters. Hit enter. Okay, so I've got my 2 circles drawn, and we